everyone. Welcome to our second episode of Explore, a program organized by Paradise Court Lagos. My name is Adedoyin Adegite, and with me in the studio this morning is.
My name is Engineer Godwin. It's a good time to discuss with us, and I hope we're going to learn something very important here.
And today we're going to be discussing about factors that drive real estate markets in Nigeria. So, engineer, can you tell us two factors that drive the real estate industry?
Well, thank you, Ms. Adedoyin. One of the things I want to talk about that drives the real estate market is demography. It's one of the things. If you look at the real estate market, the real estate market is majorly driven by kind of population. If you check some times ago, some particular areas were being dominated by different people, and at the long run, some people felt, okay, let's just move to a certain place, and that was the shift. If you check the history of the Lekki environment, Lekki corridor, you'll discover that it was majorly the people that were at a Bute Meta that actually migrated to the old Morocco that became the Lekki, and so on and so forth. So a whole lot of people move from one location to the other, exactly. And that is why Ibeju Lekki is even the major hit at the moment, because a lot of people are also migrating away from the Lekki down to Ibeju Lekki, and that is how population keeps improving the real estate market. And the second thing I want to talk about is the economy, increase in our GDP, employment data, manufacturing establishments, government presence, and a whole lot of things can also increase the level of the economy of the country and even the real estate system. So if you look at what is happening at Ibeju Lekki currently, you have the Dangote refinery, you have the Lekki Deep Sea Port, you have the free trade zone, you have the international airport, you have so many things that are moving towards this side. So you discover that a lot of people are now migrating to this environment. So what happens now is that the real estate market will start having a gross profit, because this is what people want to get. This is what is bringing the new development. You understand? So these are some of the things that drives the real estate market. I'll just stop with those two, then we'll continue with the real estate sector. But when you want to thrive in this sector, you look out for places where there are a lot of investment opportunities, where you have government presence, you have things that can.
And that's what most people look.
Yes, that's it. Yeah. So when you look at all these things, you are good to go. You are good to go. Somebody can tell me, oh, I want to invest. Somebody cannot tell me I want to invest in Badagry, and I will tell the person, go and invest in Badagry. What is the major thing that is happening in Badagry aside from the seaside view and all that? But if you are telling me you want to invest in Ibeju Lekki, I will gladly tell you, my friend, go. Because in the next future, before you know it, you are already seeing your money replicating itself. You understand? So it's a whole lot for us.
So how does inflation affect real estate, sir?
Inflation affects real estate. Wow. For me, I think how this happens is when there is an increase in a particular thing, it really affects. It's not even real estate alone. It affects the whole sector.
Wow.
For example, now we have issues with the subsidy rate, which has been removed. So people already, they feel, okay, oh, subsidy has been removed. So will this be able to affect real estate? Yes, positively it will, negatively it will. Because when you look at the positive aspects, people who have residential areas or residential properties close to your place of work, won't you be thinking of getting those residential areas? Because one, it will save you a whole lot of cost. Now, for example, schools around. If you are taking your child, probably you are living in my own environment, and your child schools all the way in Aja. What do you think that would do?
You
will be thinking of bringing that child away, all the way from Aja down to where you are staying. Look for the neighboring school within that environment. So one, it will increase real estate, because by the time somebody is buying property, he is buying property to build a school that will solve the immediate problem of that community. Do we understand? So that's how it influences real estate. In the other side, it can also add negative vibes to that same real estate, because one, development will be on one particular location. So it's not going to be expanding the way it should be expanding. So it will just be within the particular location. Probably if somebody is living within this circumference, and you have a school here, you have the hospital here, you have every other mechanism, every other government institution here, and the neighboring community doesn't have such facility. So that's trend of the real estate will keep developing within that circle, while the other neighborhood is just going through stress. So, like you asked, I told you, I always tell people, you are not a newbie. If you're a newbie, you don't just venture into real estate. What you do is this: you get someone that is already in the field, professionals. That's why you have consultants. I'm not saying you should get agents, because agents are half-baked, so they only know what they know.
Yeah, because I'm actually about to ask, how do you differentiate between, how do you know the real consultant?
The real consultants have been schooled in the real estate sector, so they've attended several trainings, so they know what it feels to consult, not the agent.
Actually, a lot has been said, and I just want you to, how do you think, for a first timer, I don't know anything about real estate, and I'm actually trying to consider investing into real estate, how do I go about it?
Okay, so our viewers out there who might be watching this video, one thing I need you to know is that no novice is permitted to go into real estate without having a consultant. So you need to have a consultant, somebody that will tell you the in and out of real estate, because I have seen people who ventured into real estate without seeking the necessary guidelines to invest in real estate, and they got their money burnt. So a whole lot has happened in the real estate sector. But you need to have a consultant. Let someone guide you through the process of land acquisition, or what kind of real estate property acquisition, or whatever acquisition you want to go into, because these are professionals in the field. And with that, I will be able to tell you guys that there is something that is cooking in Paradise Court, Lagos, and that is what we are hitting to the market today. Have you ever thought of a place where you can stay that has serenity, that is eco-friendly, that you can even live your life and enjoy comfort? Yes.
In Lagos.
In Lagos. That is what we want to do. Okay, so a whole lot of companies are coming up with different estate settings, but we want to come up with an environment that is noiseless, that is serene, that is friendly. And Paradise Court, Ketu is actually that estate you need to live in, because in Paradise Court, Ketu, we are even looking at having a zoo. Have you thought of having a zoo in an estate? And people will be like, how will you have a zoo in your estate? And
it's actually strange.
It's strange. So we know a lot of people want to have sightseeing, and when you have a zoo in that estate, it helps you to even have kind of sightseeing, where we have a whole nature of green life. You have solar panels, so we are not even depending on the Nigerian electricity sector. So we're looking at killing off anything that has to do with electricity from Nigeria entering our estate. So we have a whole lot that we want to achieve. So we'll be doing the solar panel. We're looking at alternative energies and all that. So it's going to be a wild time to key into Paradise Court. Now,
so engineer, what would you suggest in a situation where your work is actually on an environment where there's the rental this thing is extremely high? What would you prefer one do? Is it how you get is it for you to get an apartment close to your office and pay more for rent, or you move close to areas where you can get cheaper houses, and spend more on transport?
Well, logically, if you're looking at what will actually help you to sustain yourself, I will advise, health-wise, have you considered the stress that this thing will put you through? So if I am living in a place where I pay 100,000 naira for my rent, and I'm burning more than 100,000 naira for fuel and transportation, That will not make sense. So I would prefer paying that cost within the said location where I am actually having my office space, and then reduce my stress. That will reduce my stress. That will even reduce the cost of transporting myself here and there. You understand? So basically, I will advise, because a whole lot of people don't know how to manage their stress. They don't know how to manage themselves. So by the time you are collecting your salary at the end of the month, you're already treating malaria, you're treating a whole lot of sickness. So it's very important you know these things. So if I am in any of these shoes, what I will do is to get an apartment that is close to my house or to my place of work. Because looking at that, one of the things that it will help you do, it will help you concentrate in what you're doing. You don't need to come to your office like you are hurrying to work. You want to beat traffic. You want all that. So it's going to really manage a whole lot of things for you.
Okay, this is more like same question but in another form.
Yes.
What would you advise someone that owns his own house in somewhere like Godu and is working and has an office around Lekki? What would you advise? Would you advise the person to still move to these close to the work, because there he's not paying for apartment?
Yes, like that's interesting. Well, that's very logical, because you are not paying for an apartment, so definitely you are going to be paying for transportation. So, but if you are paying for an apartment and you are paying for transportation, it doesn't make sense. So, if you are paying for transportation alone, probably it's I will even put it this way: what I would have done as a person is to get a vehicle.
Okay.
You understand? I will get a vehicle for myself, and while I'm coming to work, I'll pick passengers.
Wow, that's a smart move.
And they pay for my fuel while I drop them.
Okay.
So by the time I'm closed from work, I do the same thing.